So in this Talend tutorial, what I'd like to do is go over all the facets of the MySqlInput component. MySqlInput component mainly will just take a select query and then return the result set of that query to whatever components you want to go through. So I want to go through all the tabs here and kind of give a brief overview of what all the facets do in this component. So looking here, you can choose your database connection, and if you don't want to use an existing one and you want to do it on the fly, you can fill all this information in. I always use an existing connection though, because I already have one right here. So looking here, you can use this table name. This is optional to use. If you put the table name here, the advantage is that you can guess the query that would go in there. So you can just hit guess query, and it'll generate the select statement for you. It'll just select all the columns in there, then write all the columns for you. So then also looking at the schema, I'm going to delete the schema here and propagate the changes. You can guess the schema if you have the query already there. And it does a pretty good job of filling in the data types for you in Java and matching it up with what's in the database with what Java has available to it. You also should always put a date pattern here. Is a very good practice to do. And I'm going to copy it and then just paste it here. Hit enter to make sure it applies. I'm going to hit OK and also hit yes to propagating changes. So that's a good overview of what these two buttons do and the advantages you can have with this query here. In advanced setting, you have the ability to trim all of the columns that you get returned. So if the database has some like string on the end of it or in front of it, that could really mess up joining in a mapping somewhere. So what I like to do is just hit this button here, and that trims all of them. You can also do this, and this also trims all of them. I am not sure what this enable stream checkbox does. However, I do know what this one does. There is a component called tStatCatcher, and it will log all the statistics about any component that has this checkbox checked. Moving on, dynamic settings. You can name specific components here and give them a code and then reference them in this component list. I haven't found an opportunity yet where I need to use this. It looks like it has a code right here already. So if I go back here, you can see that it's referencing tMySqlConnection_1, which is the name of this component here, the embedded name that's in Java. In my experience though, this could mess some stuff up. I like just using the default settings of choosing it from a drop-down menu. So going on, label format, you can change this label to whatever you want, and it changes the label that's underneath the component. You can change this label and it will change the row here. You notice it always puts a 1 there. That's due to guarantee uniqueness in rows. If two rows are named the same thing, it'll put a 2 or another 1 or something. Because all these rows are actually just Java structures, so they're just classes with a bunch of fields in it. So they're just trying to guarantee uniqueness by putting 1s and things about in there. You have the ability to also show comments here, and it creates this little icon here, and you can hover over it and it gives you a brief overview of what it's supposed to do. Personally, I always found that labels do most of that for me. And that's all I have on this component. Thank you for watching.